Doing good?
Doing all right. Another day, another dollar.
Yeah, man. You training today?
Yeah, I trained earlier this morning. Might do some light sparring tonight.
Good man. You train at King's if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I train at Kings and I own a Team Quest
Oh,
also.
nice.
Yeah,
Where's this Team Quest?
it's in Hemet. It's
Okay.
about an hour and a half from San Diego and LA.
Damn, that's a bit of a drive from King's, isn't it?
Oh yeah. On average, it's 2 hours in the morning.
Okay. So you coach there every morning and train and then you come back to King's?
I go in the morning, train at Kings, and then in the evening, I tend to coach if I don't have like tonight. I have two other coaches coming in and they're coaching, and I'm going to do business owner stuff.
That's a commitment, Van.
Yeah.
It's a real commitment. Good man. Hey, Van, you had a hell of a 2024, bro. A hell of a 2024. 4-0 on the year. Not in all likelihood, but ideally, you get that call from the FC in 2025. I gotta ask you, Van, I gotta ask you, is that your main goal? Or if one of these GFL, PFL mugs hit you up, you might take a gander at that too.
Yeah, my goal is to get back into the UFC again. It was a good time when I was in it. It was a solid 2 years. Uh, I just between being a new gym owner at the time when I got into the UFC and also becoming a father again, and we like didn't foresee a lot of complications, and by the end of the run it was just between the business and the kids and all the issues that come with just being a new father again and all that shit. I didn't take enough time to actually really focus on the fighting.
Okay.
Now the 2024 year came and went. I was able to really focus. Now, goal is to get back into the UFC. To be honest, I don't think PFL is interested in me. GFL, I don't honestly. I'm so reserved on that because yeah, you're getting these massive names, but is it going to draw enough money? Is the season format even worth trying when you
You don't
have?
see longevity with GFL?
Yeah, like I think the big reason why PFL isn't picking off is because of the season format. It's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're trying to do it different, but I think for MMA, that's not, how can that work, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the thing about seasons in most other sports, the reason why it works is because that's it. It's the season and nothing else is happening. You can't have seasons when you have like the biggest MMA promotion constantly year round.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's dumb and it basically puts all the fighters on the what if. This is why Bellator did so well compared to PFL and possibly GFL because Bellator just did the same format.
Yeah.
Have fighters show up, and there were times where Bellator actually had contenders.
Hmm.
No one looks at PFL and goes, "Oh, he's beating Islam. Oh, that guy." You don't see any of the champs going, "Oh, he's going to be, the
They try
monster."
to hype up this Henin Fahea. Look how that turned out, you
Yeah,
know?
I fought Hennen, and like the dude's tough,
Hmm.
like, but it was like he wasn't like some ridiculous monster. Like he
Yeah.
hit, but I've been hit harder by other heavyweights.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, I'm not saying he's bad. Like the dude, and he's definitely improved since we fought, but it's just I think there was a lot of hype in him because he was the kind of the first big star PFL had
Yeah.
of Kayla Harrison.
Right. Yeah. Kayla Harrison, of course.
Yeah, but look at where she went. She went to the UFC
Yeah.
because PFL couldn't offer her shit.
And I think the Renan Ferreira and Ngannou fight, I think they almost made themselves look bad with that because they had this guy this guy that came up in the PFL, Renan Ferreira, putting against the guy who was just the UFC heavyweight champion, and he got demolished. They almost proved their level of competition isn't the same, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like this is why like MVP was kind of that wild card because MVP at least came from Bellator with some big wins,
Mhm.
but he also has some big losses too, like especially Delima. Like, but there were like people were like, okay, Venom Page could do something.
Yeah.
Kayla Harrison, that everyone was obviously she could do something, but outside of like those names, PFL hasn't brought nothing.
PFL specifically, I completely agree.
And
Yeah.
like we're more excited for PF or Bellator fighters to either come out of retirement because of PFL than to go into the UFC. I've even seen some of them go to the GFL.
Yeah.
And if you're not fighting for PFL, yeah, you might as well sign with a different organization.
Yeah, so you clearly want to fight with the best in the world, bro, the best in the world, and you're saying the PFL just does like maybe if they offered you a Ngannou fight, it'd be a little different, but for the most part, the UFC is the highest level.
Yeah, I definitely think like just they're going to have quality for a while.
Yeah,
Like if GFL could at least make money with some names, but they realize maybe their model isn't worthy and they change it up, they could be a real contender. I do think they're doing some things right, but I also think they're doing a few big things wrong. So only time will tell with GFL.
yeah. I just think with GFL, it's like you have the current top of the sport and the future of the sport with the UFC versus an organization of yeah, big names, but they're not in the UFC anymore because maybe they got too old. Of course, people want to see them fight, but they're not at that level they were once at. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
and like that's another thing. It's like some of these older cats, yeah, with modern day medicine, they're able to do it a little bit longer, the longevity there. But at the same time, it's not as you're still damaging your body through years of it. Even taking time off doesn't, give you back all those times you damaged it.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
that's why like right now, me like I've been juggling with going down to 205. Like I had one cut that went horribly. I had another cut that went very well, and I did it to the point where I was like extremely healthy. I wasn't cutting weight massively. I literally all I had to do was cut out salt. And the last week I just wrestled and boom, I was able to get to 205. But jumping in on like I've been trying to get back to 205 fighting, but every fight I was offered was heavyweight, so I just
Right.
maintained that 250. But like I'm at that crosshairs. Like, if I take another 205 fight, I'm going to try to stay light so I can make that cut without damaging my body and ruining my longevity.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask you if you would ever do the Jared Cannonier strat. He started as a heavyweight and went down to 185, but 205 you'd be more interested in.
I flirted with the idea for like a good day.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I was like, me and Strickland have sparred. I was like, I've trained with Drickus. I was like, I know what it feels like to like handle these guys at 185. But then I remember when I went to like when I was going to 205 and then like I was going with some of these 185ers. I'm like, all of a sudden these fuckers seem a lot stronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there was one point I think one of our 85ers was bigger than me. I'm like, yo, I'm the heavyweight here. Like,
Yeah.
get your big ass down a weight
The weight
class.
cuts are a bit crazy, bro, huh?
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in doing crazy weight cuts. I did it once to get kind of back into the door of getting my foot wet again to cutting weight, and I regret doing such a bad weight cut. I regret feeling the pressure of having to take that fight.
Your
Uh,
fighting ability was that much hindered because of the weight cut. It wasn't even worth it.
it really wasn't because in like hindsight, it just you see everything that like was wrong with it, and I should have just cut my losses.
Yeah.
It went and just maybe waited another month for a different show to pick up the fight or something like that, and have a healthier weight cut, and I think my performance would have been drastically better.
Yeah, for sure. And the heavyweight division right now, a guy you've beat, bro. A guy you've beat. It's on the main card of the next pay-per-view, bro. Do you look at that and you're like, that should be me, bro? Or are you like, hey, you know what? We'll take it slow, bro. I'll get back there. It's all good.
No, like I want to be back there. Like I'm not like first. It's Australia. Tafa is a name. Dude's a fun person to fight. Like
He's a fun fighter. He's a fun fighter for sure.
exactly. So I'm not like jaded by any means. Like the dude's legitly crowd pleaser, fun fighter. Hits like a fucking
Oh, I bet.
horse.
I fucking bet, yeah.
But I mean, like, so I'm not one of those guys like, oh, he got there. I'm like, good for him. Like they did it right where I'm like, I failed. Like maybe this next time around, I'm not gonna make the same mistakes, and I'm gonna be there longer.
Yeah. And another guy who they didn't give you the win, but we know you beat Waldo, bro. We know you beat Waldo. He's a ranked heavyweight now. Does that give you more hope? Like he's in the top 15 and I arguably beat that guy. Does that give you more hope for getting back to where you were at?
Not really, because I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like I wasn't ready in certain aspects.
Okay.
Skill wise, I was, but mentally, I wasn't. I had a lot of outside factors that were playing massive issues. Like internally, like me and my coaches, I have a great relationship with them as people, but there were times where I don't think we were all on the same page as like coach and student slash I'm also like the person you need to cater to type of
Yeah.
thing. Like I was getting told and pulled in opposite directions instead of like a lot of things being favored to what I'm good at. It was like, oh, that's not good anymore, or that's not going to work. Let's change it up. Let's try this. Instead of like, hey, you have this down pat. Let's make it better.
Yeah.
It was, oh, let's change it. Let's change this. And we did so many more, we focused so much on the changing that we never allowed me to kind of just do what I did.
So you never really had a primary style since they were always trying to add more to it. You
It was they were trying to strip the style I had
okay.
and kind of like mold it more to what they wanted instead of using what I had and molding it from there.
Okay. But you're saying that's more resolved now, so you feel more ready.
Yeah. Yeah, like one of it had to come with switching gyms.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't having all the coaching that I needed. Now, these coaches I handpicked myself and they tried their best. But like my problem is I didn't have one person like head all be all being like this is the direction Jared wants, this and that. So they always would try to work together but never worked out. Then there was like the whole actual coaching system at the gym I was at, and they would help, but there was just too many coaches but no head coach. So we were all kind of doing our own thing. There was no real growth. So people started dipping, and I dipped too. Found my way at Kings, and honestly, fucking love it. Like Rafael, at the end of the day, is the head coach.
Yeah.
Any fight has to go through him. Like amateur, pro, everything goes through him. Now, like he has one guy that really is like my head coach. Me and him clicked. He's been my pad holder. He's working on learning more jujitsu to be more acclimated to my style of jujitsu. But yeah, uh, having that changed my game. Finding that like also joy for it. Like lately, I forgot how much I enjoyed fighting. Like I
Yeah.
have always enjoyed it. I love the competition. I love the big stage. That love does not go away. But like I actually love waking up and I'm like, hey, I get to choke somebody today. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
You enjoy your job, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, and like lately, I have a coach that I just he made me really love jujitsu again, and honestly, it's my jujitsu game has gone leaps and bounds from what it used to be. And I think a lot of people still watch my UFC fights and like, oh, he's just the good strike. Like all he is a striker. But I'm like, if you watch any of my last four fights, it predominantly a big influence of grappling has come up, and I think a lot of people are going to be shocked when I start, finishing fights on more my terms than before.
And I'm excited to see it, bro. And I'm excited to see it. I gotta ask you in the current state of the heavyweight division, bro. Next title fight, bro. Next title fight. Likely gonna be Jones versus Tommy Aspinall, bro. How do you see that fight going?
All right, so I want Aspinall to win, hands down.
Yeah.
But if anyone's going to upset, said it is going to be Jones
Mhm.
because Jones has that the one thing that a lot of people don't give him credit for is he literally is a like he likes to study other people styles more so than I think anyone else. He likes to be the best fighter to beat your style.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a very narcissistic thing. Like we don't get Jones doing Jones stuff. We get Jones doing his style to beat your style
Mhm.
in the most like disrespectful way. Like I think of his fight with Thiago Silva. I believe Jones could have taken down Thiago Silva at any given point and choked him out.
Mhm.
No, he wanted to prove a point and he's standing banging with them. Same with the DC. He took DC down just to prove a point. Sorry, my kids are being annoying.
All good, bro.
I will solve this problem. I have a door.
You chilling, man. You chilling.
Don't
Taking
have kids.
not anytime soon.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
You chill, man. You're all good.
Don't think it helped that much, but
We'll see. It's all good. But yeah, what you were saying about Johnny, analyzing his opponent's style. I think a big issue though, not a whole lot of tape on Aspinall.
true. But if one thing on another thing is you can always watch their teammates and partners too.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you watch some of them, you can kind of get a style of what they're strong at.
Yeah.
Like if you're at a gym with a bunch of good wrestlers, but let's say the wrestlers are only good at double legs, and your gym is really good at single legs, you're like, we might actually have a chance of getting him on the ground with single legs.
Yeah. Yeah, he could study some Mick Parkin.
Yeah, and I think that would be the route to go because I think Mick is very under he's very slept on in a lot of senses.
Yeah.
Um, it's just Tom and Mick aren't those most boisterous Englishmen that we're kind of used to, like Bisbing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Sure.
they're witty with their words,
Yeah.
but they're not as just
They're not
loud.
trying to go at people. They're just clever.
Yeah, and like that's why I like Aspinall, but I'm like, dude, if you kind of go more like Darren Till and fucking Bisbing, your name would blow the fuck up.
You know what though? That he's ticking off people anyway, because they do not
Yeah.
like that he's the threat to John Jones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also give John Jones a little like, oh, I've fought the up and comer guy.
Yeah.
See, you get someone like, and I understand where Jones is like Alex. The fight with Alex Pereira excites me because it's the dude that kind of took over your spot. But instead of like calling you out, he's just there knocking people out.
Yeah.
He's finishing fights, and he's like, "What's next?"
Yeah.
And Jones sees that, and he was like, that could be fun." And that would be honestly a fun fight because they're both actually roughly the same age too.
They are. I just I think on name value, it's for Jones stylistically, it's a much nothing's an easy fight, but I could see him just blast double legging Pereira, and he's gonna get more credit for that from the general population because more people are familiar with Alex than they are with Aspinall.
That's true too. I get that, but I do think if he beats Aspinall, Jones can do whatever the fuck he wants. And if
Of
Jones
course, yeah,
wants to fight Alex, I think that would be the best way Jones caps off his career.
both of them, Aspinall and then Alex.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Because if he beats Aspinall, there's no other guy at heavyweight, right? He's already
yeah,
beat Cyril gone, and then every other top contender, Aspinall's beat. There'd be no one else.
exactly. And I do think at that point, if let's say what was it called? God, Alex Pereira beats I cannot say that Dagestanian cat's name.
The one that's fighting Blades.
The one that's fighting Alex for the title, light
Oh,
heavy.
Ankalaev.
Yeah. If Alex beats him and gets Jones, that will be possibly the most hype fight. Jones being Aspinall, Alex being that would be the biggest sell. I think you
For
top
sure.
I think you top a McGregor fight.
I agree at this point 100%. They do have to get past those two because if not, it's gonna be why not Ankalaev, why not Aspinall? But if they can get past those two, that it'd be huge, yeah. And no one can say anything.
Then you're just like, oh, who's
Yeah,
a real badass?
exactly. Yeah. You not really a fan of the English humor?
Oh, I don't mind the English humor. I think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. You a
Like,
you a fan of the Guru?
no,
No.
him because the moment you bring up my kids,
Did he
I,
really?
yeah,
Wow, what do you say?
uh, it was just it wasn't something mean, but like it was something like directed, like oh, uh, like he won't feed his kids or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. You brought up my kids. Like I'm in Southern California. Like the one thing in Southern California, you just don't bring up people's kids.
Yeah, for sure.
And people are like, oh, he's on. I don't give a fuck. You don't bring up my kids, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
Yeah.
So when people are like, I'm like, fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't I think it's a boundary you don't cross, man.
Yeah, well, like I feel like if you're there's certain ways to cross it in ways where it's not like kind of fucked up,
Yeah.
and it just I'm just like, dude, you were shitting on me. You brought my kids in. Well, in that process, I want to slap the shit out of you.
Yeah. It's pent up in the UK though.
Well, I mean, if he's in the UK, I'm like my hand slipped. My bad. Like I don't know.
Yeah, 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 of course.
I slipped, fell, elbow. It happened. I'm very
Yeah.
close.
Um, I don't want to say you're one of the few, but I think all fighters should use social media. Like it costs them nothing and it can bring more opportunity. Is it, did you just want to do it to kind of connect with fans more, or is it more just to see what opportunities you can get with it?
Two. One is actually to help me speak.
Okay.
I'm confident enough to speak in front of people, but I also know I struggle with actually speaking. You could go on almost any video of mine, and you'll hear people scream CTE immediately.
I've
There,
seen that a few times. Yeah.
yeah. Especially right now, it's giving me like a lot more pull again because for some reason, anytime I get pissed off, my numbers blow up, and I'm just like, I hate that, but at the same time, it does work for the algorithm. So I use it to work on my speaking. Has it helped? I actually think it's maybe not necessarily gotten worse, but my will to fix and correct my speaking has gone out the window.
Hmm.
Just because I've learned that I can make a mistake and people don't care. Occasionally I'll get, the stupid comments, but I'm like, okay, most people get it.
Yeah. I don't think people actually really get what CTE is anyway.
Yeah, it's a good trigger word because they heard it on Joe Rogan and stuff like that.
It's just the easy anytime a fighter makes a slip up or does something dumb, it's CTE, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I screwed up, but what's now your excuse? It
Yeah.
also takes away your accountability to fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, the one that really pissed me off. Excuse me. I had like a handful of almonds before I got on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the one that pissed me off, I heard like some statements about Dern
Hmm.
and her dog. She had a emotional support dog.
Okay.
Now I saw the thing. The fucker was big, and I'm like, and people are like, "Oh, I can't believe she has it." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, first of all, go online, look through have any comment section of any fighter. It's either you're a piece of shit or hey, I'm a fan. You're a piece of shit. Hey, good fight last fight. You're a piece of shit. Hey, you're awesome. Now girls have it worse,
Yeah.
especially someone like Dern or Cortez. They're highly attractive, and people are like, "Oh my god!" And people just say the most foul ass
Some of
shit.
the corniest comments you will ever see.
Yeah, and it's like that's creepy. And I can only imagine someone says something a little off color, and it's like, okay, I'm bringing my fucking dog with me because that sounded weird. But
Yeah.
people are like, oh, it's CTE. If she's a fighter, why does she? And it's like these people are fucking weird. People are rude, and it's like when you're in the public eye, like people don't get that you're not given a break in the public eye either.
Yeah.
And then you hear it's like, well, you shouldn't be in the public eye. It's like, okay, I like fighting.
Well,
The only
yeah. Yeah.
I can fight more is if I get into public eye.
Yeah.
And
Part,
that,
but it's part of the job. Yeah. That's
yeah,
not it's not the part of the job you're signing up for, but it's part of the job.
exactly. And that comes into number two. I do it more for the job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, and the thing is, you have to. And then you have to follow all the rules of social media. You have to find your niche and this and that. And it's like I'm a dude that I have a few interests. I like it. But for a lot of people, I don't fit the mold that they have the idea
Yeah.
of what I enjoy. Like I'm a huge anime gamer, massively into music.
Mm.
I've been part of the golf culture for years. But when people look at me, sometimes on social media, when I'm in my gym clothes and whatnot, they don't see any of that side of me, and I hate trying to like be. Oh, I'm a fighter. I'm a business owner, but I also like all this weird shit, and I can't brand myself because of it. It's also stubbornness and not willing to learn. But I find it hard branding myself.
Yeah.
Like I love fighting, but I love doing it. I hate spectating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, I'm not knocking people that are spectators. I'm not knocking anyone that enjoys watching. But for me, it's boring as shit. I can't do it. And when people want me to talk about fighting and stuff, I'm like, it's not my interest.
Yeah. I think a lot of fighters are like that. They're not really fans of the sport, it's just what they do. Yeah.
Like I do it because I love doing it. I don't love constantly have to talk about it because it appeases your fantasy that all I do is eat, think, drink MMA
Mm. Yeah.
because that's what everyone thinks I do. I'm like I'm gonna actually do a video after this of someone commenting like, "Oh, make your way back to the UFC. You shouldn't be on TikTok." It's like, dude, TikTok takes me like two, like
That's
maybe 10.
those are the funniest comments as if
Yeah,
it's
it's like, dude,
12 hours. Yeah.
yeah, it's like I sleep on average 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
I can make a TikTok video literally in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I could do one take filler, like it's good enough, 15 seconds, and like sometimes I don't even use hashtags or put captions. Post, boom, done.
Yeah. It's really nothing. I know. I see those a lot. It's never understand it. It's just trolls in it. But
I can imagine what you deal with like any opinion you have.
hmm.
God forbid you have a hot take. You're stupid and you don't know shit.
Honestly, I don't even it's great because I've a lot of people will respond to those people for me.
Yeah,
Nice. So I was like, all right, I'll let you guys deal with it.
yeah,
I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response. Yeah.
exactly. I get that.
Yeah. And then last question before we end this, bro.
No,
Um
we're not doing it. No, I'm just,
you go on a lot of drives you said to work, big commute, whatnot. What's when you stop at the gas station, whenever that is, what's your chev of choice, bro? What's your snack and drink of choice?
drink is easy. Coffee and depending on when coffee and energy drink.
Okay.
Like
Both?
yeah. Well, my drive is about 2 hours, and sometimes it'll be like 2.5 hours because it's
Mhm.
just traffic.
Yeah.
So if I can, I'll get me like a extra large coffee and an energy drink. Drive, drink the coffee, let the energy drink warm up just a tad bit.
Mhm.
Pound that down right before class, and yeah,
What about the snack? No
then
snack?
I'm not. It depends on like who I'm rolling with. If
Okay.
I like I'll bring my kids with me, then I'm usually getting all sorts of different snacks. If it's by myself, it's usually just almonds or pretzels.
Okay. That's
Something
all.
salty.
That's a good chev of choice, yeah.
Just because, especially after you work out, like you need salt to retain like liquids or not liquid, but fluids in your body. And when you sweat all your salt out, you need to replenish that too. A lot of people just like, oh, I need water to replenish. It's water and salt.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I
Yeah.
go like a salty snack.
All right, Van. Hey, I appreciate you for your time, man. Hope to see you back in the FC, bro. Rooting for you. Good man. Thank you for talking to me, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, brother. Have a good one.
You too, man. Like.